Over 2,000 years ago, according to biblical tradition, three wise men followed a new star that led them through the land of Judea to the town of Bethlehem, where they came upon a newborn baby, surrounded by angels and shepherds. And while many biblical scholars believe the birth story of Jesus to be metaphorical, not literal, as the staff space geek, I of course had to investigate what could have created or have been interpreted as a bright new star in the sky all those years ago. So I went off to meet up with my fellow space geek, Grant Tandy, at the Worthy Observatory to see what he thinks could have caused a light to shine so bright in the night sky that wise men would have interpreted it as a new star.
So, one of the first things we want to do figuring something like this out is look back in the historical record and see if 2,000 years ago, was there any astronomical phenomenons that were going on at the time?
The first candidate isn't necessarily common, but it's certainly been seen before, including in the 1600s when Johannes Kepler observed something that he himself thought was a reincarnation of the Star of Bethlehem, but what we now know as a supernova.
Supernova, when we're looking through telescopes, occasionally we can see a supernova, a star explode in another galaxy. That's when a star gets really big, collapses and explodes. And if one happens in our own galaxy, it can be bright enough that it's visible during the day for a few weeks. And you could imagine living hundreds of years ago, being able to walk outside and see something new appear in the sky. That would be very surprising.
In fact, in 1054, a supernova was observed that burned as bright in the sky as the moon for around 2 years. It's been found in the historical record in China, Japan, and the Middle East. So there's one possibility.
So a conjunction is a possibility. Conjunction is where two planets will get very close. There was actually a really interesting conjunction that happened in 7 BC between Saturn and Jupiter. And, maybe the combined light from those two could be a possibility for explaining this, but I kind of doubt it would be bright enough.
That one's a bit of a stretch. Now there is one possibility that makes the most sense, especially because the Magi said that they saw the star twice that led them to the town of Bethlehem. And one could argue was depicted in this nativity scene by Giotto in 1305. That's right, the possibility that checks the most boxes is a comet.
So, this phenomena was actually seen relatively recently in 2006. There was a Christmas comet, Comet McNaught, and that was visible in the night sky, one of the brightest comets we've seen in the last 1,000 years.
The Gospel of Matthew implies that the star was viewed twice by the Magi. Well, that behavior is typical of many comets. They disappear as they get close to the sun, then reappear as they circle back after getting spun around by the sun's gravity. So there you have it. My Christmas attempt to show that spirituality and science may not be quite as far apart as we may think. Einstein once said that science without religion is lame, and religion without science is blind. For Central Oregon Daily News, I'm meteorologist Scott Elmas.